Are you kidding
Maybe you
me?
should press it again.
No, now it's
Times
okay.
this.
What the hell?
All around it.
All right, now we're live. What the is that? I seriously don't know what the hell happened. I pressed the start streaming. I changed the scene and everything. I saw Simon Ashtier. He's chatting, and I'm like, oh.
Yep.
And next thing you know, it's like we're not live. Oh, you're right.
The professor was not late. Thank you very much. The professor was very much on time. I was the first one here.
First.
Well, you start the room. That makes you first.
Yeah.
Details.
Yes. Donnie was delayed. So apologies,
delayed.
everyone. Thank you for sticking around.
Yes, we
He
appreciate
was rescued by the eagles from the Tower of Orthanc.
If that helps you. I know that's
going to be someone out
Tolkien
there
reference.
that goes. Yes.
I know it's a Tolkien reference. I get it. I love it. But no.
Yes.
Yeah, like Simon Asher says, if the professor is 30 minutes late, does that mean that we all get A's?
If
the professor was 30 minutes late, sure. But he wasn't.
So, have you guys ever had that happen in school where the teacher, so supposedly if the teacher was like 20 minutes late, 15 minutes late or whatever, and they weren't there, you got a free pass to get out of class?
Absolutely.
Did that ever happen to you guys in school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you just left class?
Oh, yeah, you better believe everybody was watching the clock, and at the exact second, there was a mass exodus out the doors.
College, that happened more often than I would say in high school.
Of course.
Oh, it never happened in high school.
Yeah. And at work, I have a rule that if it's a 30-minute meeting and you are 8 minutes late, I'm out of there. If it's an hour meeting, you get 15.
That's pretty generous.
Yeah.
I don't think I would stick around that long.
Even if your boss has set up this meeting and all of a sudden it's 15 minutes late and all of a sudden finally they join, like you're not there, like, hey Ryan, like we have this meeting. It's like, no, you were late. I'm
If they call me back in, I'll show back up.
It's like, but that you were late.
Well, there's part, so as soon as it hits like somebody's like 3 or 4 minutes late, then my mind starts going like, please don't show up, please don't show up, please don't show up. I don't want to be there anyway. So, and especially if it's like a meeting that you either didn't care about or didn't want to have,
Which is like all meetings.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Webhead says, I have nothing else scheduled to watch at 9:30 on Wednesday nights. For 20 minutes, I was left with nothing but my own thoughts.
That's a scary.
That is dangerous.
That is, we apologize. We apologize, Frank.
Hopefully we've rescued you from your own thoughts.
Shh, no more thinking. No more thinking. It's all done.
Do you use your left hand or your right hand for that? You wish.
Are those happy tears? Are those happy tissues or sad tissues?
Both sometimes.
Yeah, that's and then you finish and then you start to what? You're like, oh, no, what am I doing?
Then you use your own tears to masturbate. That was one time, and it was Valentine's Day, and I was drunk.
And why are you using this against me?
All right. I don't know how to return from that, so.
Well, we got normal voice, Blue.
Is it normal? It's still a little rough. We'll see how long it lasts before you start to notice. Get that out of the way. Okay.
She mutes herself to cough.
I know. I am so over this coughing. Oh my God. Anyway, welcome everyone to Gamers Week podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, worst, and weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 180, and today is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. My name is Blue Williams, and I'll be your host for this evening. But as you can see, I am not alone. I do have two fine co-hosts with me. My first co-host has just started a new career as a loan shark. But don't worry, if you fall behind on your payments, he offers several flexible payment options. Please say hello to Ryan Payne, aka Retro Game Brews.
I'm all about flexibility. I'm about giving people the right position to pay me back.
Right.
So, yeah. I think I'm pretty generous. A generous loan shark.
I'm already loaning you money. What more do you want from me?
And my second co-host is the proud new spokesperson for Follicle Fresh, the new hair-based toothpaste that cleans and flosses all in one. All he has to do is stop gagging long enough to shoot the commercial. Please, everyone, say hello to the one and only Donnie G.
I don't. Okay, I know I messed with you about the Silksong and all that stuff, but why do you feel the need to do something that's disgusting, that I find disgusting?
Because it makes me happy.
Right, and I think
you want me to be happy, don't you?
And it makes me happy as well. So 2/3 of the podcast is happy.
And I'm pretty sure the viewers are happy as well.
Yes. So everyone is happy, but you. Own your own happiness, Donna.
You're responsible for your own happiness. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
On that note, bye. Click.
Want to start your own podcast? Maybe about Love at First Bite, the cannibal dating show where eating your partner's meat is highly encouraged? You'll need a place to host your show. Buzzsprout has a user-friendly interface, great analytics, and resources to help grow your audience. Just use the link in the description to get a $20 credit when you sign up for a paid plan. And let's move on to our reviews, reactions, and requests. Daddy Davy says, I do recall that Big Trouble in Little China game for C64 and Specky being extremely popular. I never played it myself, but it definitely was popular back then.
Good old Europe, getting stuff we didn't have.
Right.
Specky.
The
Good
ZX
old
Spectrum.
Specky.
Yeah. You got Specky. It. Yeah. Not ZX Spectrum. It's the Specky for those in the know.
Well, and Ryan actually called it the ZX Spectrum last week, and I was like, What are you British? Like we don't do that here.
Only because it's from the UK. So I am being very nice about that and calling it, because it was originally called the ZX Spectrum, right? By them. So I'm gonna go with that. Originally, I did call it the ZX Spectrum. And I remember talking about it on like a video that I posted on Twitter and getting destroyed for it. So I'm very choosy with my words on that.
Okay.
I don't want to get canceled by
What he's saying is he's enlightened now. He's going with the native pronunciation. And when he writes it out, he adds a bunch of extra U's just because.
Exactly.
Was the ZX Spectrum released in the United States?
Not widely.
Okay.
No.
All right. So it's not like the Mega Drive Genesis. Okay. All right. Just checking.
It's virtually a podcast. Wants to know if you call it football or soccer.
I call it soccer because I also like football.
So you have to differentiate. Makes sense. Next up, Cyrum11590 says Gamescom was more like Days of Meh, with some announcements and reveals that were at least decent.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It wasn't
meh.
terrible, but
Days of Meh.
As the kids would say, it was very mid.
It did not spark joy.
And Gaming Again says, life has been busy, and I'm getting caught up on the pod. Very excited for the return of Blue Sick Voice.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. I don't think it's completely gone, but we'll see. We'll see how the night goes.
You don't sound as bad as you did last week.
No.
It's like a half a pack now.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Go and get my Misties, honey. Would you be a doll?
All right, let's move on to our patron shoutouts.
Well, we couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. Gamatroid, Mordi, Michael, yo, one ugly motherfucker, Lakite, Emo Ass, Phil Tucker, you know the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps, Fruitcakes, I hate it when my shorts gets twisted, Pickled Pepper, Ducks with Thick Thighs, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress, Bobson Dugnut, Blues Little Sis, Loud Moth, Retro Blast Pat, BNT Zilla Guy, The Mad Milkman, Seven Castle Forest, Crunchy Kong, Snacks, the Handsome Chef, Frank Grande, Love Retro BTW, Steve Retro. Love Retro BTW. Steven Sand, Ramboski, Terry Kinnair, Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over, Games of Coffee, Hybrid Divide, You Fall Before Me, Davey PGH, The Pixel Pond Family, including Shannon and Luke, Zach, Old Cluster Nuts, Puzzle Butter, Number One Blue Sick Boys Fan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evil Lust, Have a Structured Settlement or Annuity, and a Need Cash Now. Your boy JG Wetmer at 877 Cash Now, and Mega Retro Man. If you like what you hear today, we really hope you do. Please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You also gain access to our bi-weekly patron-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut, patrons with benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more.
Webhead says Spaceballs, the Patreon.
Well, before Simon Astor says, the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps, eventually the entire Spaceballs script will join the Patreon. And I can only dream and keep my fingers crossed for that.
Get back here, you fat bearded bitch.
What are you, one of the freaks?
All right, let's move on to the headlines.
This headline segment is proudly sponsored by absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things, starting with deep dives into every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for us. According to the manual, what is the name for a health replenishing item in Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis, more commonly referred to as wall meat? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes. We've already had this one, didn't we?
But it was
Nope.
regular Castlevania. It wasn't Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega.
Yeah.
And I played that about a year ago, so I feel like I should know this. But the media thought it was pork chop because that's what it was in that one. But what tells me is it's not that. Well, so I'm going to go with turkey leg.
Okay.
This is bullshit. Like, are you telling me that they changed the name of the meat in the subsequent different games?
Yep.
Like, oh, this is now tofu block or what? Like,
it is Sega, so it's possible that mega is in the word.
Mega meat.
Yeah, mega meat.
Take my mega meat.
So you're right. It was pork chop in the original Castlevania. This one, I'm just going to go with ham chop.
Okay. And you should know that Zach chose this specifically with the intention of trolling you two. So
well, he did it. That's a good job.
That checks out. Yeah. The answer is actually mutton chop, but
mutton chop.
He would have accepted Western meat, which is allegedly the translation to English from the Japanese manual.
Western meat?
Western meat.
Western meat.
I wonder if that's their term for mutton. It's just Western meat.
Probably.
I don't know.
They don't know what to call it.
Japanese has some weird, like, translation stuff.
Simon Astor says in Castlevania 3, it was werewolf meat.
Oh.
In the Netflix anime, there's a blink and you'll miss it of a shot of a butcher casually taking a cart of dead werewolf away without saying anything. I remember that shot, but I did not catch the reference because I have never read the manual for Castlevania 3.
Me neither. Do you guys remember the movie Mom and Dad Save the World?
No.
With Terry Garr, John Lovitz. Anyway, there's a scene. John Lovitz is this like emperor on this other planet, and he's getting ready for his wedding to Terry Garr, and he's trying different things. He's like goatee or mutton chops, and one of the guards who they're twins. It's those two twins that were in the Gremlins 2, that were in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. He's like mutton chops, and he puts the mutton chops up. He's like, no, shoot yourself in the head. Shoots himself in the head. And he looks at the other guy. He's like, what do you think? And the guard like looks at his dead brother, looks at him. He's like, mutton chops. And John Lovitz is like, really? And he didn't have to say anything. He just pulls the guns out and shoots himself in the head. And all of a sudden, John Lovitz he's like, he puts the mutton chops up. He's like, yeah, I think I'll go with these. So anytime I hear the word mutton chop, it makes me always think of that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a reference I never would get in a million years.
That's a deep cut.
Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on to the week's headlines. A fresh report has detailed the difficulties faced by some developers keen to launch games for Nintendo Switch 2, but who remain unable to do so due to a lack of Nintendo support. According to Digital Foundry, Nintendo is still restricting its supply of Switch 2 development hardware and instead telling some studios to launch their titles as Switch 1 games that can then be played via backwards compatibility on Switch 2. This has sparked frustration among a number of developers, including at least one major AAA studio unable to launch a Switch 2 native version of their game, while hardware is given to some indie creators, including the team behind Campfire Simulator Chillin' by the Fire, an indie hangout game set around a campfire which makes use of the Switch 2 camera. There's been a lot of talk about this lately that Nintendo seems to be almost discouraging Switch 2 development to some degree. Digital Foundry's John Linneman said during the team's most recent podcast, I've spoken with plenty of developers where they were told that their game, they should just ship it on Switch 1 and rely on backwards compatibility, Linneman continued. We talked to a lot of devs at Gamescom this year, and so many of them said the same things. They want to they want to ship on Switch 2. They would love to do Switch 2 versions. They can't get the hardware. It's really difficult right now. One particular frustration has been the lack of transparency from Nintendo on why some studios have been given Switch 2 development kits while others have not. There's weird stuff about discouraging Switch 2 development explicitly for some games. A limited subset of games, like if you're doing a pixel art game at 240p, you probably don't need a Switch 2 kit. Digital Foundry's Oliver McKenzie added. But there are very few games on the Switch 1 that wouldn't benefit from being ported explicitly to Switch 2.
I would say if I was one of these developers, screw you, Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just develop my game for Sony or Xbox.
And to that end, the last time Nintendo did something similar to this was the release of the N64. And a lot of developers jumped to PlayStation, right? They did not wait around to get their port, and supposedly it was really difficult to develop for anyway. So it sounds like maybe Nintendo's like, yeah, this thing's kind of jank. So maybe we don't want people to actually get a dev kit for this. What a strange thing to do for Nintendo. You would think they would want everyone and their mother to have one of these dev kits so that they can start selling games strictly as Switch 2 and charging more for them. Because I can do that now.
It's virtually a podcast says Switch 2 equals disaster. Something is happening with Nintendo and it's weird.
Very weird.
Puzzle Better says Nintendo roasting their own campfire feels sus. I mean, I don't know if the gaming landscape now is such that you as a developer can just say, well, screw you, Nintendo. We're going to do the other platforms. Nintendo is such a huge portion of the market, especially for indie games, that I think it would behoove you as a developer to figure out how to work with them.
Of course, and
but okay, sorry.
Well, like it says in the article, they're giving it to some of the indie developers, right? Just not the AAA studios. So the
Campfire Studios.
Yeah, Campfire Studios gets.
I do love this. I do love this perceived like hierarchy of games to where the Campfire Simulator does not deserve the Switch 2 dev kit, but like the real games, the quote unquote real games, deserve them more.
I think Nintendo has been hamstrung in the fact that the Switch 1 has a limited amount of space natively for it, right? It's running at 720p. It's essentially equivalent to PS3 hardware, right? And there are certain games that Nintendo players would love to have that are not on Switch 1 because it couldn't handle it. So I think there is a hierarchy, right? At least it should be in Nintendo's mind. I mean, what was the game that they recently came out with that Nintendo is getting the first version of it, and now they're coming out with the second one? I just saw this recently. I think it was on Gamescom or Opening Night Live. Oh, what game was it?
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't know either.
I'll have to look it up, but that was coming out for Switch too, which like, ooh, look, Nintendo's finally getting like a big boy game. Um,
I just googled Nintendo Big Boy game.
Yeah, and right now it seems like Nintendo is too primarily focused on all these developers porting their older games to the Switch
Right.
too. And I just I just don't know how much money they expect to get from this, how much these developers expect to get from this to see for yes, it's a brand new system, but it's a system that rivals the PS4, the Xbox One, which is like just kind of they're old. So it has
Yeah,
to
it
make
is
a lot
kind
of
of
sense.
funny. I mean, because on the one hand, like one of the major criticisms of the Switch 2 so far in its life cycle has been the lack of games.
Mm-hmm.
Two, like you're saying, it's old hardware. So why is it like this feeding frenzy for developers to try to get these dev kits, especially when the news earlier was that uh, third party games are just absolutely bombing on Switch 2, with pretty much the exception of Cyberpunk 2077. So do all of these developers think that they're going to be the exception and they're going to be the new Cyberpunk and just sell a shit ton of units if they can get it ported to Switch 2?
That's a good question.
I think you have to look at the population of people who strictly own a Switch, right? Don't own
Mm-hmm.
Steam account or anything. They just own a Switch, um, and have been looking at the PS5 and PS4 library and Xbox library and going, "Ooh, I would love to have that game." That's I don't know if that's a lot of people necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty, but like Cyberpunk, I think was such a big phenomenon. It was obviously in the news. So it was on people's radars, but I don't know. Does your average I'm only owning a Switch person, are they looking for something that's not like a Nintendo property?
Well, I don't know, and that's the weird thing is like how many people only own a Switch 2? I could see a lot of people only owning a Switch 1.
Yeah.
But usually if you put the effort to get the Switch 2 early, you're probably a fairly established gamer who has more than one
Yeah,
console
Or
or
you
more
traded
than
your
one platform.
Switch 1 in to get a Switch 2.
probably.
That too. Yeah, that could be it.
But then you've been playing on the Switch One, so you are
Right.
established. This is not your first foray into a gaming system with the Switch Two, and if it is, you fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't get why not just continue to develop for the Switch One then, and instead of all this debacle with the Switch Two, just push it out a little bit longer. If you didn't have the bevy of first party titles for it, which there's what, 2 games now, 2 or 3.
Donkey Kong, Mario
Bana-
Kart.
yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart 9.
Mhm.
So that's your fault for not having at least 5 or 6 first party titles that you could ship with this instead of now you're relying on all these other developers to get on the bandwagon and say, well, I'm going to port a 10-year-old game to this new console that I don't see it bringing in a lot of money for those developers. I don't think it would be a best use of their time.
But I mean, even if they wanted to, it sounds like they're not getting kits anyways. So
Yeah,
it
that's
seems
right.
like it's this just counterproductive relationship. Nintendo, and really, Nintendo has never really had, since the Super Nintendo, realistically, a really strong relationship with third party developers anyway, right?
Mhm.
Um, they get occasional indie games, but again, because they're the, you know, ancient hardware, that's their mantra that since Gunpei Yokoi,
Mhm.
um, nobody wants to develop for them because it's not going to be something that's going to be ported to then the most modern consoles as well. Because that's where a lot of the developers are going to make their money. It's in the margins by being able to sell it on Steam, PS5, and Xbox and
Yeah.
Switch at the same time. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's a fucking weird business model, honestly.
And maybe I don't understand enough about game development, but like why restrict the dev kits at all?
I don't get that.
No.
That blows my mind.
You'd
No.
want everybody and
I
their mother to
know
be able to have them.
the only thing that I can think of is that one of the biggest problems with the Switch One was that the eShop became just this absolute dumpster fire of shovelware
Absolutely.
and mobile ports, and there was no quality control whatsoever. But if you're telling people, well, no, put it on the Switch One, but you can still play it on the Switch 2 via backwards compatibility, that doesn't solve that problem. So, with that logic, I have no idea why they would restrict these dev kits. It
Yep,
makes no sense to me.
because you still get the Switch One graphics and quality. It doesn't matter if it's backwards compatible. You won't get that quality. It's just like, okay, if I did the whole thing with what's that the Harry Potter game that they made for the Switch and it looked
Mhm.
like shit.
Hogwarts.
So you're telling me that
Yeah.
okay, to port Hogwarts to the Switch 1 and it's going to play great on the Switch 2? No, it's not.
It barely played great on the Switch One.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll watch this play out and see where it goes. But I hate to say this, but it seems like this is the every other console problem that Nintendo
Mhm.
has.
I was just gonna make a similar point. It's Nintendo just came off of their like hand over fist success of the Switch One, and now it's time for them to be put in their place and have a little bit of humble pie.
Well,
I think the only one was the GameCube that was immune to that, right? Because the GameCube wasn't the gangbuster right after the flop. So it went Super
Mhm.
Nintendo and 64, and then it was like GameCube.
yeah, it was not a big. And then we revolutionary, like,
Right.
okay, still the graphics weren't great.
Got to use your hand. It's a baby's toy.
Yeah.
Tekken85 says they fully redid Hogwarts Legacy for Switch 2. Yes, that's probably a rarity though. They probably got a dev kit to be able to do that to showcase the game on the Switch 2 looking great as it should have been. But that's not to say for
And I think
every
we
single
were,
developer.
yeah, I think we were more using that as an analogy than a
Right,
specific
right.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that is, if we're talking about a hierarchy of games that deserve a Switch 2 dev kit or not, that would be one that probably you could make a strong argument for because, I mean, if I recall correctly, they had to squash it to like 1/3 the size that it was on Xbox and PlayStation just to get it to function
Mm.
on Switch 1. So when Tiken says that they're like two completely different games, I believe it.
Bring Gollum to Switch 2.
Call them for Switch 2. I'm still not going to play it though.
Nope.
You and no one else.
All right, next up, PlayStation boss Herman Hulst has said that live service failures are good for the development of their future attempts. One of Sony's first major pushes into the live service space was Concord, and for those of you who managed to miss out on the fiasco, it was pulled offline after 2 weeks of being out, and not long later, Sony killed the game and the studio behind it, meaning that the 8 years of development time were basically for nothing. And yet, PlayStation are unfazed with development of live service titles going forward. Marathon is next in line, and from the sound of things, it isn't going swimmingly over there either. The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary oversight is, Holst adds. But instead of changing strategy to avoid massive live service failures like Concord or cancellations like The Last of Us Online, Holst says he basically wants Sony to fail better. I don't want teams to always play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply. To change these massive failures into smaller failures, Holst says PlayStation has implemented several new safeguards, such as more rigorous and more frequent testing in many different ways. This reportedly includes a higher priority on group testing, more cross pollination of ideas within Sony, and closer relationships between top executives. Top executives.
Tippy top.
But if you were hoping that failure would cause Sony to go back to doing what it does best by creating impactful single player games, don't get too excited. Holst says that the number of live service releases is not important. What is important to me is having a diverse set of player experiences and a set of communities, he says.
And as we were talking about before, we'd established that I'm a top executive and Donnie's a bottom executive.
Mm.
Not in my boardroom.
Does this feel a little bit like revisionist history? You know, like, oh yeah, I totally meant to do that kind of thing.
I mean, I love that they're saying we're not going to go for successes. We're going to go for faster, cheaper failures. Like, are you listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth?
I think this brings up, though, a fundamental problem that is a part of the gaming development space nowadays, is that you realistically, if you're a AAA studio, you have to make hits in order to be successful. You have
Mm-hmm.
every game that comes out needs to be a hit, needs to sell 10 million plus units in order for you to justify the amount of money that you're putting into the development process and marketing. It's astronomically big. It's the movie industry, right? If it flops, you're fucked. And I can appreciate the old adage, right? You learn more from your failures than you do your successes. I get
Mhm.
that. But in a way, I don't know if they have a lot of room for error. Maybe Sony's different because it's not just a development studio, so they have a little bit of extra cash to liquid cash to work with. But still, um, that sounds to me like it's not a long term strategy, and you can only fail so many times before you either run out of money or you get to the point where you erode consumer confidence in your studios.
Right. I think
Right.
failure is good in some ways because it lets you learn. In this way, they're learning that not everybody wants a stupid live service game. You know, and if
So the lesson is not to play.
well, yeah. And if they end up in development of another live service game and they see that it's going down the toilet, maybe then you change the direction and say, all right, you know what? We're not going to focus on live service games. We're gonna go back and focus on that single player narrative that people love and yada yada yada. Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to basics and do the stuff that we're known for. That's going to bring people back to the house. Why not do that? I do agree that you need more oversight as far as focus
Mhm.
groups and testing and feedback and all that stuff, because so many of these games that we've talked about over the past couple of years have been released and they've absolutely bombed. And you know why? Because the focus groups haven't been there. They haven't adhered to the feedback. They've just been like, no, let's go ahead and release it anyway. We're already too far gone and we can't just kill it now. But Herman Hulst is saying, yeah, go ahead and kill it. I don't care if it's been in development for 8 years. Well,
Mhm.
I'll hold your head under
You
the
would think
water.
like CD Projekt read this and we're like, oh.
Yeah, so we could have done that.
No, I think that this is a bunch of corporate ease
Yeah.
BS. I think that where Xbox is always saying, "Oh, we're focusing on producing award-winning games," while in this next breath they're closing the studios that actually produce said award-winning games. But then you
Mhm.
have to have the suits come out and say the lines of, "Oh no, we're going to get you these award-winning games," and that's just their shtick that they use to excuse what they've done. I think it's interesting though that PlayStation is not even aiming for that. It's like, well, we're gonna put out these great games and we're gonna do these, this award winning and all these successful titles. He's like, we're gonna fail faster, and that's how we're gonna be better. Is we're gonna fail faster, and I think that they just cannot resist the allure of live service, even though they have yet to have success aside from Helldivers 2, which is not even their game. It's just on their platform,
Right.
but they see how much potential money is in live service and they just cannot resist going for it, even though it how many millions and perhaps billions of dollars have they lost in pursuit of doing this thing that is completely different from what their bread and butter is and what made them the household name that they are today. But I also like how Holst is saying, well, the advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary oversight is. I mean, so you're saying that you failed these teams because you there was no oversight apparently, and the implication being that now we're going to micromanage them and it'll be better. Like, what's going to be the excuse next time?
Guys, I can only play golf 3 times a week now.
Yeah.
Right. I actually got to work. Oh my God.
Now, I'm all for I'm for the good balance, you know, of having people having oversight, having the focus groups, the feedbacks, and everything like that. But I'm also for taking a step back and letting the creative minds do their work. So
Sure.
I don't know how they're going to find the balance here.
They don't. It sounds like they don't know either.
Yeah.
No, they have no idea.
We have no clue.
We're just gonna keep failing until somebody figures it out.
Right.
But we're going to fail faster.
Just like, no, ludicrous fail. Go.
This money is falling out of my pocket.
I like that.
Smoke if you got them.
When we stop? Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
All right, next up, the announcement of Hollow Knight Silksong's release date has created a ripple effect in the indie game community. With the game launching on short notice next week on September 4th, several indie titles that were slated to release on or near that date are collectively jumping out of its blast radius to avoid being overshadowed. Nate, the wary, onesie-donned Failson at the heart of the eccentric adventure in literal walking simulator baby steps, has stumbled after attempting to ascend his greatest challenge yet, launching the week after Hollow Knight Silksong's surprise release date, reads Devolver Digital's press release on the delay of their game, Baby Steps. And they're not alone in this decision. Publisher Easebird Games delayed its tactical RPG Demon School from September 3rd to November 19th. The early access cozy sim title Little Witch in the Woods pushed its long-awaited 1.0 launch from September 4 to September 15. Indie Metroidvania Eterna Lucas was also planned to release this month and is now delayed all the way into next year. Retro RPG Phaland was set to launch out of early access on September 9, but this has been postponed to a yet to be determined date. Clover Pit, a roguelite slot machine game, had its launch moved to September 26 from its original September 3rd date. All of these delay announcements specifically cite Hollow Knight Silksong as the primary culprit. This phenomenon will likely continue as titles like Jet Runner, Atari's Adventure of Samsara, Deep Silver's Metal Eden, and Bandai Namco's Hirogami are just a few titles arriving right alongside Team Cherry's hotly anticipated sequel. It wouldn't be a surprise if these developers are having difficult conversations about whether it's wise or even financially feasible to delay their titles, or if it's better to weather the storm and hope for the best.
What a great excuse to be able to use if you were behind on developing your game.
Well, can't do it now.
Right? Yeah.
Can't do it now.
All right, we need another 2 months. Just it's for Silksong.
So Silksong is having this effect. Clearly, GTA 6 is going to have this effect. So is that what it's going to be now? Is that we wait for like the big titles to come out so that everything else is like that's how we determine when games are going to be released?
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say is how often do you hear of this happening? Of other games adjusting their release dates specifically for a single title. I mean, we've talked about it happening with GTA 6. And then I can't think of another game besides GTA 6 and Silksong
Yeah.
that other developers have specifically gone out of their way to avoid. And I think objectively that makes Silksong the GTA 6 of indie titles.
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't know if that's an insult or not.
I'm going to take it as a compliment. And I think Team Cherry should too.
All I can see in my head is the part of the movie in Something About Mary when Pat Healy he's listening to the conversations and he's hearing Tucker say he's a serial killer or something. He just says, "Fuck." That's every other development team that was planning on releasing their game on that date. They let out a collective fuck, and now they got to scramble because they know the sales they're gonna tank going up against Silksong.
So Blue, I know that you're going to go crazy for Silksong,
Mm-hmm.
but if Silksong wasn't going to be released, would your first choice be a walking simulator called Baby Steps?
You mean where the main character wears like a gray onesie specifically so you can see the sweat in his ass crack?
That's that game?
That would be the one.
No.
Oh my god, I forgot that was the name of that game.
Yep, Baby Steps. Where it's like
Ugh.
the ragdoll physics
Yeah,
walking
nobody's
simulator.
playing that game anyway.
No. Even though, as much as I love Devolver Digital, no, that would not be in my top like 87 choices.
Would
play
a
that week.
roguelike slot machine game be one?
No.
Can anybody tell me what the fuck that means?
Okay, that needs to be played on Switch, I think, so that you can use the little Joy-Cons.
There we go.
And, you know.
Did you keep doing that?
Sometimes the definitions that they use to describe these games are just like what the like? Come on, what are you trying to do? Like, are you really trying to sound that cliche and uber smart? No, just
It's almost
Stupid.
like they threw a bunch of genres into like a bowl, you know, and just went,
yeah.
and then, all right, slot machine. Oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Roguelike?
Like, I don't think we can pull this one off.
Let's go to ChatGPT and see what it says.
I was going to say, you really think that they're using like actual physical methods like pieces of paper in a bowl? No. They went to ChatGPT and said, give me a new game genre. And ChatGPT said, roguelike slot machine game.
By Jenkins, he's
Weird.
done it.
It's gonna print money, I'm telling you. Genius, Jerry. It's genius. Or gold. Sorry.
It's gold,
Gold,
Jerry.
Jerry.
Gold.
So I mean,
Ah.
kudos to Silksong, though. I mean, I think everyone is extremely hyped about this. I don't think that this is an overreaction. I'll be honest. From
No.
these two studios, I think this is going to be an absolute blockbuster game, and good for Team Cherry. Maybe the whole "we really just enjoyed making it, so we delayed it for 6 years" tactic is working.
Yeah. But, you know, I think the whole thing of like, it's not just the Silksong fans that were hurt by them just not even checking in, not even saying, hey, we might release it this time, or we're still making it, or whatever. Like, nobody saw it coming. And then it's having ripples across the gaming industry for all these people like, oh, they're releasing when? That's the worst time ever. So, yeah, I think, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And Team Cherry from now on should be giving us release dates that we can count on.
I think it's for other indie dev. They would appreciate it as well.
Right, for the sanity of their indie dev brethren. A release date next time.
Like, they're not all on like a Slack somewhere where they're just like, "Hey guys, just want to let you know we're going to be releasing this." Like, you know, help a guy out. Come on.
We're brothers. We're cut from the same
Right.
cloth. You know, we're indie developers.
Right. And Team Cherry's like, I don't know you.
Yeah. New phone.
You
Who
can't
dis?
sit here.
Right. It's the Mariah Carey gif. Like, I don't know her.
Seats taken.
Simon Asher says, is there a guest host lined up for when Blue goes into a Silksong cocoon for the next few weeks? You guys don't need me, right?
Just to edit.
Yeah. Oh.
Come up with the show
No.
notes and
Do all the things.
however it is that you post it on Buzzsprout, because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Also the leveler. I don't have access to that either. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So no cocoon for me is really what I'm hearing.
You get no vacation. You lose. Good day, sir.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I gotta say though, we are planning on doing an episode next week, and Blue has been so gracious to postpone playing on launch day
Mhm.
so that your ear holes can be full of our voices. So
I am a generous podcaster. I care about your ear holes being filled.
if you're not a Patreon subscriber yet, but you want to show appreciation for Blue,
And
just
my sacrifice.
throwing it out.
My sacrifice.
And we promise Donnie won't sing any more Creed.
Hello, my friend.
Please stop. You're scaring them away.
are you taking the day off to play Silksong? That's the question.
No.
No. Okay.
Because I was so sick before, I don't have any more vacation time.
Oh no. Okay.
I know.
Simon Esther, subscribe now to disable the singing.
And then Frank says, Blue is invaluable, Daddy.
MVD.
MVD.
I'll
Stop
take
throwing
it.
out names, Frank.
All right, and last up, High on Life 2 continues the absurd tendencies of the original and will feature a playable version of Wisdom Tree's Bible Adventures video game. Creative director Mikey Spano from developer Squanch Games revealed at Gamescom that Richard Kind's character, Senator Muppy-Doo, can factory reset your game, prompting a Bible Adventures takeover. The 3 games included with Bible Adventures, Noah's Ark, Baby Moses, and David and Goliath are playable during this takeover. Spano said someone at Squanch Games has great connections in the video game industry and helped get the rights sorted out to make this happen. When the idea came up to have this kind of in-game takeover with another game, Spano said it was his dream for Bible Adventures to be that game, but he didn't imagine it would work out. It did, and Spano said he's floored. A terrible video game based on the Bible is like the best thing I've ever heard in my life. It sucks so bad to play. It's great. In the original High on Life, the 1990 movie Demon Wind was watchable from start to finish, and Spano said the team at Squanch Games wanted to find a way to up the ante with the sequel.
Trolling you with Bible Adventures might be the coolest thing
I know.
I've ever heard of.
Joke's on them. I'm good at Bible Adventures.
I was just about to ask. You're probably the only one that played it back in the 90s.
I
between
played
the 3 of us.
so much Bible Adventures
That is
back in the
so
day.
funny. Because I was not aware of this until I was older that even existed.
The look on Donnie's face is telling me he's not super familiar either.
I'm just trying to understand this whole freaking article. So you can play Bible Adventures. You're getting incepted.
So yeah, so the way it sounds like it works out is that the main villain can factory reset your game, and then it turns into Bible Adventures.
The Lord, that is the ultimate troll move.
Yes.
Like, why?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you don't rescue Baby Moses, you can't go back to the regular game. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure that's how it works.
Oh no, were those games tough back then?
Oh my God, the David and Goliath and the Baby Moses one were fucking impossible. The Noah's Ark one is actually, I don't hate it. Even to this day, I don't hate it. You kind of run around and
Carry the things on your head.
yeah. You can carry like 4 different animals on your head, and then you go to the ark and you put them in there. But the cows, you can only carry 1 cow at a time or 1 ox at a time because they're heavy.
Apparently, they didn't get loaded on 2 by 2.
1 by 1, yeah.
I don't hate this idea. I think it's very trolly. Just like Simon Astor saying you can play some of the Sega games in the Yakuza series. Okay, I get the concept, but this is like to the next level. This is having somebody take over your game and then forcing you to play a much harder platformer. Like they should like institute something like that where it's like, oh, now you got to do this level of Marble Madness to get back to the regular game.
Not only that, these games actually contain Bible trivia that
Yes.
you have to get through.
Oh,
That you have to have the manual for as well too. So it doesn't give you, if I remember right too, you have to open it up to a certain page. Like it doesn't give you the question. The question's in the manual, and it's just answers. If I remember right.
No, I don't think so.
And well, it's one of those Wisdom Tree games that it may not be Bible Adventures. It may be like Bible Buffet or whatever.
Okay, I didn't have Bible Buffet, so.
Simon Astor says the King James Manual.
Shit.
Yeah, no, on this one, it's actual, they have the question and then it's like multiple choice. But you can imagine the kind of audience that's playing High on Life is probably not a lot of overlap in that Venn diagram with the kind of audience that grew up playing Bible Adventures.
Just like the end of the game, they've become educated now, and it just reminds me of that scene in Clerks 2 where the Jay goes to the guy and goes, "Do you know Jesus was a Jew?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sorry, but those games would probably, if they have Bible trivia, they're going to be a hell of a lot easier to answer because I have this thing at my disposal called the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking of like what the license cost for this. It
$2.
couldn't be a lot. Yeah, right. Like
The license, I imagine, was not in high demand. So it was nice that they could make it happen.
call up the guy who owned Winston Tree, like, hey, could I get the license for us? He's like, well, yeah. It's like, so what do you think's a good price? The guy's like, $20.
Yeah.
He's like, really? No. 25? Sure.
You know what?
okay.
I'm hungry. Could you DoorDash me a fish sandwich and we'll call it even?
That's actually not a bad deal these days. Tegan85 says, it's good to know that Bible game makers were also coked out. I mean, yeah.
Well, it's funny too. They had like what was it? The Sunday Fun Day was just a direct port of Menace Beach that they changed over to make it more Bible-y, if you will.
More Bible-y.
More
More
Bible.
Bible-y. Mm-hmm.
Well, and the
More Bible.
Baby Moses one is like Super Mario's 2, just
Yep.
reskinned.
And
way harder.
Okay.
Way harder.
But you got to hold on to Moses the entire time, but you can throw him.
Right. You can throw him, but not in the water.
Isn't that where you're supposed to go?
Just-
Go to your home.
You're not supposed to throw an infant in general, but apparently water is worse than slamming him down on the ground from a high height. Just
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Got it.
Logic. All right, let's move on to our top 3 new releases.
All right. So first up is Shinobi Art of Vengeance, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The iconic Shinobi returns in an all-new 2D action platformer with a unique hand-drawn look created by the team behind the hit brawler Streets of Rage 4. Play as the legendary Shinobi Joe Musashi, master of the ninja arts, after finding your village burned to the ground and your clan turned into stone. You must set off on a quest for vengeance, ready to face an unparalleled evil and avenge your clan. Next up is Davy X Jones, early access on the PC. Betrayed, robbed, and beheaded legendary pirate Davy Jones sinks to the locker, the seafarer's afterlife. But death is merely the beginning of this epic fate of revenge. Control the captain's headless body, Jones, and forge an unlikely alliance with his stubborn skull, Davy, as you reclaim your stolen artifacts and face your eternal nemesis, Blackbeard. And lastly, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Remake of the 2004 game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater with the same gripping story and engrossing world, now with new graphics and 3D audio that enhance the jungle atmosphere. Get ready for the ultimate survival stealth action experience. So, taking a look at these, Donnie, what are you in for this week?
It's really a toss up. Davy X Jones, while it looks like it could be fun, it's definitely not in my coin flip this week. I could still possibly play it, but it's taken a back seat. Shinobi Art of Vengeance looks freaking amazing. Metal Gear Solid Delta, I've been waiting for this. I actually went and after work stopped by a Target today hoping it would be there. It was not. So I think I'm going to have to pick it up tomorrow. I'm hoping that they have a physical release for it because I'm picking it up on the PS5. But Shinobi Art of Vengeance, Metal Gear Solid Delta, those two, they're fighting it out for my attention this week.
Nice. Blue, what about you?
Siram I says, my wife is interested in the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. She finally remembers shooting enemies in the dick with the trank gun back in college.
Go to sleep.
And that's how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Shinobi Art of Vengeance, like Donnie was saying, it looks freaking amazing. The art style looks great. Love the platformer. Love this series. Excited to see it return. Davy X Jones. Pirate games are fun. And Metal Gear Solid Delta, obviously, it's a classic game. Um, I probably wouldn't do that one because I'm not like a giant Metal Gear Solid fan, but I'm sure it's going to be great. Donnie can let us know how it is. But yeah, again, it's hard to look past anything besides Shinobi Art of Vengeance. That just looks absolutely killer, and I cannot wait to play that.
Nice.
What about you, Ryan?
So Davy X Jones looks kind of cool, I will say. It actually reminded me of that one game that like the Rick and Morty team came out with, um, which was that first person shooter with the guns that looked like phallic
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, that like talked as well.
Mm-hmm.
Similar art
Mm-hmm.
style, but it's like steampunk version of that, I guess. It seems to have a lot of humor in it, which of course I always appreciate with a game. I just, yeah, to your point, Donnie, I just don't know. I haven't seen enough of it to be enthralled. Um, but call my interest peaked to say the least.
Okay.
Um, Metal Gear Solid. Never been a Metal Gear fan. I hate stealth games because I'm terrible at them. So I will admit that's a me thing, not the game's problem. But watching the trailer, I know that this is a remake. Um,
It didn't look very remakery.
no,
It looked remaster.
yeah, and not
Yeah,
even really that well done remaster. Everything's kind of rigid. It's very
yeah,
PS2, PS3 look to
yeah.
it, and so I, I mean, it's cool that you'll be able to play it on a PS5,
Mm-hmm.
or your Xbox, if PC or whatever. Um, I just don't know that it's the jump I was expecting if I heard that they were doing a remake of this game. That being said, I don't really plan to play it anyway, so who cares what my opinion is of how it looks? But Shinobi looks badass,
Yes, it does.
and Shinobi, for anybody who is playing games from back in our day, it was Nintendo had Ninja Gaiden, Genesis had or Sega had Shinobi, and Shinobi I thought was always a cooler, not only looking game, but the way it played. You had a lot more weapon options. They were kind of cooler. Your sprite was huge as far as things go compared to Ninja Gaiden. Huge,
Huge.
huge. Um, so I think that this is borrowing from that whole premise very, very well, from what I can see. So it seems to me that it's not only taking what Shinobi did well, but adding on top of it. There seems to be a lot of combos that you can do in move sets and everything. So it tells me that as you progress through the game, you'll start to learn how to do those things. So there seems to be a nice fun factor that's involved with it. But it does seem a little Metroidvania-ish, a little bit,
And
which I'm terrible at. So I'll probably be terrible at this too. But it still looks cool as fuck. So I would have a hard time not at least entertaining it to see what it's all about. So if I had to pick one, I'm going to say Shinobi is my choice this week.
I would
yeah,
say that Shinobi's probably not a Metroidvania. It's not. I don't think that they would go into that route, knowing
I
that
don't
if
think
it
like from a
were,
map standpoint and they have to like backtrack. I don't think it's probably that, but it is a lot of like midair platforming and all that kind of stuff
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. So
TKN85 says, I wonder how upset the Shinobi people were when the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound announced their release date.
She said
right,
Gaiden.
she gets a pass though.
Oh well, okay. Well, me, right? Yeah.
One Up John says Shinobi's physical is only through limited run games.
Oh no, no! Come on, man.
Oh,
Boo.
boo! Might boycott this.
Well, if it's like a lot of other limited run releases, it'll show up at Target or Best Buy in a couple months.
I've never seen a limited run game show up at Target.
I've seen a few of them.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Shredder's Revenge
Yep.
was initially only limited run games, and then you started seeing it everywhere.
I still haven't played that game, nor have I gotten it. I think it's time for me to check out
Yeah.
my local Targets and a Best Buy for a limited run game. Okay. Hmm.
All right, before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. This week, they want to know, what are your go to retro games when you have some time to kill? Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes.
First one comes to mind is Mega Man X. That is one that I know kind of back and front, so it doesn't take a whole lot of thinking, but it's still fun as hell, and the
Mm-hmm.
music's always great. So
Mm-hmm.
Mega Man X is always that one. It feels comfortable. And having done an RGB high score with it, I learned a lot more about the game as well, and so now it feels like every time I play it, there's no point in which I'm struggling. So there's no frustration. I can just it's cozy in a way for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Dr. Mario. That's the one that I
Surprise!
know. I know.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That's the one I turn on when it, got 30 minutes to kill. I'll do a quick run through of Dr. Mario. I haven't done that in quite a while though, because I've been grinding away at the Vampire Survivors Platinum, which also coincidentally you can do those runs in 30 minutes. So
Oh, there
that's
you
what
go.
I've been doing instead. But I've got that platinum now, so now I think it's time to go back to Dr. Mario when I have a little bit of time to kill.
Nice humble flex as well.
For me, it's got to be Tetris. It's a game I have been playing almost daily for like a good 20 or 30 minutes. See how many times I can actually transition to level 19 and subsequently the higher levels and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's a tried and true classic. The other one is Donkey Kong. I've got that little arcade countertop thing sitting over here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll move my camera. It's sitting right there. And yeah, just pop. It's on. Just pop over to Donkey Kong. See if I can't beat my high score. There you go.
Funny because I was playing that tonight before we logged
Oh,
on.
yeah, on your tabletop. Yeah.
Yeah. I was showing my folks are in town, so I was showing my parents how it works.
Mom, Dad, look at my Donkey Kong.
Yeah. She's so proud
I'm
of
sure
me.
that's what they were excited to visit for.
Have you seen my Donkey Kong?
Right.
Are they staying at Casa de Pain?
They
So-
are right on the other side of that wall.
Bring them on in. Sit on the couch.
I think they're asleep right
Go wake them up.
now. We'll wake their ass up. We gotta win tomorrow.
The patrons want to see you. And now it's time for the pause for effect. Very important poll. Every month, we post our VIP, very important poll. If you'd like to participate, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at GamersWeekPC. Now, this month's question is, who do you think is the sexiest video game villain? Third tie for...
It's a tie. Yeah,
This has never happened before. This is crazy. All the years we've been doing very important polls, we've never had a 3-way tie.
So,
We've never had a 3-way, you guys.
never had a 3-way tie for the poll. So,
Nice. Pause.
yeah. Coming in at 21%, Pyramid Head, Dark Queen from the Battletoads, and other. And leading the poll this month is Lady Dimitrescu. However you pronounce it, Dimitrescu, Dimitrescu, whatever. I don't care. Don't at me.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You know exactly who we're talking about.
All right.
She
Huge tracts
Tracts
of
of
land.
land. Yeah.
She is towering above everybody else at 37%. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the comments from the poll. Slaw Saunders says Elizabeth Bartley from Castlevania Bloodlines is absolute smoke. Smoking hot smoke show. And she even used World War I to resurrect Dracula. Very hot, very evil. You see what I'm doing? It's very hot, it's very evil. Thunderdome Gam 1 says, surprise, no one said the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. Well, I mean, you said it.
Really?
You said it. Ludo Tembo says, "Game over. Gruntilda from Banjo Kazooie can get it." What does that mean?
I think there's a
Get it.
theme here.
She's gonna get it. She doesn't even know it, and I'm gonna give the one to give it to her. Dumb Penguin says, "Ganon in Legend of Zelda TOTK is literal fire. The Ring Fit Adventure boss is also sexy, but it's very much a type. Some kid somewhere played Ring Fit Adventure and had weird feelings. I don't know this one."
It's like
Like a big demon thing.
yeah, like a gray demon, but like
Okay.
he's got like an
He's
8-pack
cut.
and yeah, super cut.
I'm getting the Peter
This
tingle.
better not awaken anything in me.
Yeah, exactly. And last but not least, Dragoon Arc says, "The Dark Queen from Battletoads." I mean, there had to be some motivating factor for us to keep throwing ourselves into that jet bike level.
Mhm.
Persistence is key. I would agree.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to see what you guys have said. You know, because you're the opposite sex. Blue, let's start with you. Who was your sexy video game villain? And I think we already know the answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, surely this is not
Yeah,
a mystery
I'd
to
like to hear it.
anyone listening. I went with Dark Queen. No, just kidding. I went with Pyramid Head, and that was my nomination for the poll. It's Pyramid Head forever and always has my heart.
Stinky Aragorn.
He's not a villain.
Stinky Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head does not stink. We've had this discussion. We
I
do not
know,
need
and
to rehash it.
no, but it's not settled. It's the problem. He smells like blood and iron and rot. I'm telling you.
Leather and it's a nice manly scent. The leather apron, maybe a little bit of metal from the giant sword
That's
and the
covered in blood. And the guts, the rotting flesh. I'm agreeing with Ryan. He might have a 6-pack, but that smell, do you think you would you clothespin it?
So when you look at the nurses from Silent Hill, there's nothing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's what I would call window shopping. Nice to look at, as long as it's behind some glass. All I'm thinking though is like you know in like you ever they have some like cadaver in a movie somewhere, right? And they do like that like thing under the nose. Like that's all you got to do, Blue. You're like, oh wait, we're gonna do this. Give me 1 second. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to make some adjustments to make it work. You know, I can meet Pyramid Head halfway, and you know, just see how it goes.
and then you find out like he's asexual.
Oh, that would be so sad. Although the intro of him with the dolls in Silent Hill 2 makes me think that's probably not the case, but I don't want to judge.
Well, he was just doing that for posterity's sake, for the environment, and then after that, he's just like, nope, I can't do that again. Ryan, what about you?
Dark Queen from
Mhm.
Battletoads, and I think that this character was the one character that opened my eyes to the concept of goth chicks and started my obsession.
The BTGGs?
You got it. BTG, big titty goth girlfriend. BTGGs, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like thigh high leather boots, right? That like leather bustier, black hair. Oh yeah. There's something that happens.
I think a lot of kids had a certain awareness after playing Battletoads.
Yep.
Davey says, "Oh yeah, the fuck me boots."
Exactly. And I do have kind of a boot fetish, so that's funny.
Deacon85 says, "Speak louder so your parents can hear you, RGB." Yeah, it's his house. I don't think he gives a shit.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was the one.
She was the one.
She was the one.
What about you, Donnie?
while she is definitely on the top of my list, I'm going to go with something or someone that I don't think most people have mentioned or even thought of, and that is Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid 1. Now, if
I
you
gotta look this up.
don't
Yeah.
remember, now I will say that back in um, days of yore, when Metal Gear Solid was the hype thing
Oh,
on
I
the
see.
PlayStation,
With the uniform that zips down to her like her belly button.
yes, she's got the choker, she's got the long hair that sometimes covers her eyes and makes her a little mysterious. And the flight suit that zips up, that zips down the front, exposing just a little bit, that gives your mind something to play with. I like, okay, yeah. Like, there's a reason why I'm dying. I keep dying on this level. I don't know what it is. And finally,
Can't seem to focus.
right,
Weird.
I overcame that. And if you look at some of the art for Sniper Wolf, some of the cosplays that are out there, yeah, Sniper Wolf.
I'm sure that's a popular cosplay.
I believe so. She's got my vote.
It's a solid choice, Donnie.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
I appreciate that.
I really was expecting more troll choices like Eggman or Waluigi or something, and we didn't get a single troll vote, which I'm kind of disappointed. It's not often, well, not often you're disappointed in the internet for not trolling you. This was an occasion.
Booger Man.
Right, exactly.
Let me tell you, there's something sexy about a rotund man with a wild, wiry mustache that just goes all over the place.
Virile. It's a virile mustache.
Virile.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you all for listening to episode 180 of Gamers Week Podcast. And a big thank you to the Retro Game Club Podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pawn Production Company, and absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. If you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamers Week Podcast, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Time, unless Donnie is late. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com. Or if you want to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamersweek. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of the episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. We really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice.
Shots fired.
Hey, you know what? My what was I gonna say? Apparently, my unhappiness is your guys' happiness. So it's my sacrifice.
It only took you almost 4 years to figure that out.
Almost 4 years. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a late bloomer.
Ooh.
I'm a little slow. The town's back that way.
But you know what? You know what is so touching about nights like tonight is that these people care enough about us to stick around.
They do, and that says something. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we were 20 minutes late, and yet the regulars are here. They're chatting with us. They're hanging out, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I might be a little sentimental, but that means a whole hell of a lot to us that you guys keep showing up and
For sure.
interacting
100%.
with us and making this podcast better.
You see that, Donnie? They think you're worth it. They think you're worth the wait.
Is that L'Oreal? You're worth it. I am.
Yeah.
Ramboski says, "Hey, better late than never." And now I've got Cheech Marin in Ghostbusters 2.
The Titanic.
Yeah. Everything is a movie thing. Everything is a movie quote. Seriously, again,
Better
thank you
late
guys.
than never.
Right. He says the Titanic just arrived. Thank you very much for hanging out with us again tonight. We will be back on Monday for a Gamers Week Plays. Actually, I don't think we will.
Well,
'cause
it's
that,
a holiday.
Yes.
Yeah. It's Labor Day.
we will
Yeah.
probably not be on for Monday night because it's a holiday. So we will be back here next Wednesday, and we are going to leave you in the hands of our good friends Pixel Pawn Production Company with Ducks in the Skies and Red Ox PDX. They are playing some Donkey Kong Bonanza. So go over, hang out with them,
BANANAZ.
It's
CFO
bananas.
before me says, thanks for the tip, Ryan.
And just the tip.
Just the tip.
What I tip? What? Oh shit! What I do?
You gotta ask, you can't afford it.
Mm.
All right. Good night. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. Stay safe.
Good night.
Bye. Reading now.